Good morning, it's Tina Traster.
Yes, ma'am. From the Rockland County Business Journal.
Yes, good morning to everybody on this very windy morning. It seems that there's a tempest in the teapot out there.
I guess so.
I'm going to talk about the thing that many of my stories point to, in one way or the other lately, it seems, is how much in need we are of economic stimulation here in the county. So, for example, one story that we published last week talked about the owner of the former Macy's building is hoping to fill that vacant top floor of over 100,000 square feet, potentially with film production facilities.
You're talking about at the shops in Nanuet?
Right, the shops at Nanuet, the former Macy's building. And this sounds like an interesting idea. The county has qualified that space under the Empire State Film Production Tax Credit Program for that space, in fact, to be eligible for that use and that purpose. A sidebar here is that Clarkstown will need to either amend its zoning code to add film production studios, in fact, to that zone, because right now it is zoned for regional shopping, and there's not specific allowance or permitted use for film production studios. But that's a sort of a sidebar to the story. The point is that the at-home store is going to open soon and take up 100,000 square feet on the ground floor. And, maybe they'll get an initial boost for being new in town. Maybe they'll be here at the right time because it's sort of inexpensive home furnishings if we, continue to languish in this pandemic. But the obvious problem here is that we were saturated with retail before the pandemic. As you know, we have reported on this very subject for more than 2 years. But now is the day of reckoning, and so what we're really looking at is what can Rockland do to stimulate its economic base. And what steps will need to be taken, whether it's a whole reimagining of the shops at Nanuet. The same storyline is the very referendum that we're going to be voting on tomorrow in the election. The referendum on the Palisades Center about allowing it to use its undeveloped space on the fourth floor. The question is what can we do to be something other than just a retail-drenched county that has seen how vulnerable it can be on this basis. I don't know if at home, like I said, will thrive or survive. But we can see how ransacked the shops at Nanuet is. And, film production, I think maybe this is just one thing that everybody can be excited about. Maybe. I mean, there's always a dissenter out there. But it would seem that, as it is, this county has a lot of assets for film production, and it's a decent part of our economy. But if we, just like Yonkers or Brooklyn or Astoria or Long Island City, if we can bring more film production to this county, I think that's a good diversification to our economic base. And so I think that's why this story is interesting. It's still going to be down to the owners or the people who lease that space to work hard to get these studios there. But this will be this makes number 5 for the number of qualified film production studios that we will now have in the county. And I think it also, it begs the question is if we do fill 100,000 square feet of space over at the Shops of Nanuet with film production studio, I guess the creative question to ponder is, well, then what can happen around it? What becomes some of the supporting industries for film production? So that perhaps that retail center can come back to life. Even with the Palisades Center, it's the same. It's really the same story, which is the incentive for gaining that space back. I think is part of one hopes is part of a greater master plan there to recreate that mall to be something more vital and more diversified. They keep throwing out, we keep hearing the buzzwords, hotel, convention center, things like that. But these mall developers are really going to have to lead the way and figure out a way to bring back what may be two very sad black holes in the county, unless they are reinvented. That is just clearly what is going to be needed. So film production is just something I think that everybody can feel pretty excited about. I think we all like it when nobody's too bothered when we see the film crews around. I think we're excited about that. And I think, actually it can become part of Rockland's feeling of pride about itself. I mean, we are a beautiful county with beautiful assets, and we should use them. So
you talked about that at home. The way you describe it, it makes it sound like it's akin to Bob's Discount Furniture.
Well, it's a giant warehouse, home goods. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just a giant.
And they do very well around here, apparently.
Who does?
Bob's, yeah.
Well, so, maybe that's the right price point. Maybe they'll do well at this moment in time, given that we are all at home a whole lot.
Yeah, right.
So, maybe they'll cash it. I mean, their opening has been delayed for a year. I'm not quite sure why. Well, partly the pandemic. They do have a national model, so they know what they're doing. But the job lots just opened. We have the home goods. I mean, we have a lot of stores that already cater to this market, this niche. So will this be profitable? I think, like I said, they seem to know what they're doing. They've been around a while. They have a pretty tried and true formula. But it's not enough to wait for retailers like that to save the economy. We need more manufacturing. We need light manufacturing. We need film studios. We need entrepreneurs. We need incubators where people are innovating in this county. I've been saying this for 2 years. I mean, I'm not a seer, but it's been obvious that we're in a big time of change, and the pandemic has hastened that. But everything that we do to become more, it's like a stock portfolio. You don't want to have all soybeans in your portfolio. You want to be diversified, and that's been kind of the message for Rockland, and there's lots of talk about it, but it has to really be put into action. That's what we need, that kind of stimulus.
I have one question for you, because we have only a couple of minutes. Why is there, do you think, maybe you never even noticed before, there's only one car dealership in North Rockland, in the whole Haverstraw Stony Point, only one. Now, there's a bunch of used car dealerships that you can go, but I bought a car for my granddaughter about 1.5 years ago, and this one is certified pre-owned. It's Schultz Ford is the only dealership up there. Is there no room for another car dealership in North Rockland?
Well, I'm gonna give you that answer with a one-word answer, and that is highways. The thing about North Rockland, and actually we have funny you should say this, because we have a story coming up, which I won't, I'll just tease that it kind of goes to the same subject, which is, the how North Rockland is sort of ignored because you don't have a major highway that runs through there. So I think that when big, corporations cite their companies, they look at the demographics of traffic. And with North Rockland, you're not off of a major highway. It's just 9W,
But
really.
even the people who are contained within, they got to drive. They drive everywhere.
The population's not big enough up there to support. I mean, we could probably make a list of a lot of things that North Rockland doesn't have, right? And maybe we'll do that next time. But,
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, if anybody's feeling generous, we are still, we're offering $50 memberships for a year to help us support local hyperlocal journalism.
And how do you subscribe?
Well, you just go on rcbizjournal.com and you will see our pink buttons everywhere, and it's an easy transaction right online, and any support we can get, we appreciate.
rcbizjournal.com.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Tina.